order the regular Building Board of Appeals meeting for March 20th, 2025. Call to order. Roll call, please.
Board Member Paul Darling.
Here.
Board Member Robert Hart.
Here.
Board Member David Arnsdorf.
Here.
Board Member Hugh Flack Jr.
Here.
Board Member Kevin Cox, absent. Staff, Mike Lemieux,
Here.
Mike Redmond,
Here.
and Juliette Harvey here. We have quorum.
All right, thank you. So the first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the February 20th, 2025 meeting. Does anyone have comments on those minutes or make a motion to approve if not?
I move to approve.
Those in favor?
Second.
Aye. Aye.
Minutes from the February 20th meeting passed.
I move to approve.
Okay, those in favor, I should take the vote afterwards. We have one item on the agenda for this month's meeting. The applicant is here via Zoom, is that correct?
Correct.
And this is, the process we'll follow is we'll introduce the variance request, we'll have a staff report, and then we'll give the applicant an opportunity to present their appeal, followed by a follow-up to the staff report. Staff report gives response to that if necessary, and then the board can ask the applicant questions about their variance request. So the first item on the agenda is BBA 25009, appeal for 2015 Manchester Road, Ann Arbor, Michigan. And can we have a staff report, please?
The property at 2015 Manchester is a Group E building. Permit application was submitted 12/16 of 24. Building permit 24-0622. The work was described as alterations to the interior building, including wall demolition, new partition walls, change to existing mechanical and electrical systems. At the plan review, it was noted per the 2021 Michigan Plumbing Code, section 403.3.4, exception 2, that toilet rooms in a child care facility containing 2 or more water closets shall be permitted to have 1 water closet without an enclosing compartment. The submitted plans show no proposed enclosing compartment in any of the water closets within the bathroom group. The plan was required to be revised to show required water closet enclosures per the 2021 Michigan Plumbing Code. The applicant has indicated, in addition to the requested variance to eliminate required toilet compartments, they're also seeking a variance to eliminate the required grab bars. The lavatory within the toilet room and surrounding toilet room walls shall be constructed to a height of 42 inches. Applicant believes the true intent of the code has not taken small children's needs into consideration, and these variances should be accepted at this location. Staff recommends that this application be denied as it doesn't meet the standards for approval. The code has not been misinterpreted. The provisions of the code do apply. The proposed condition does not meet the minimum requirements of section 405.3.4, exception 2 of the 2021 Michigan Plumbing Code. Section 405.3.4, exception 2 states water closet compartment. Each water closet utilized by the public or employee shall occupy a separate compartment with walls or partitions and a door enclosing the fixture to ensure privacy. Exception 2, toilet rooms located in child daycare facilities and containing 2 or more water closets shall be permitted to have 1 water closet without an enclosing compartment. The petitioner states that we propose half walls with half doors and no doors for preschool in the toilet rooms within the classrooms. We specifically are requesting relief from the requirement for full-height walls and partition walls and doors within all toilet rooms in this center. We're also asking for relief from the requirement of placing the hand wash sink within the toilet room. A large sink is provided immediately outside of the toilet rooms where children's hand washing can be supervised by a teacher. Relief is also requested for placement of grab bars around the toilet. The bars cannot be reached or used by our very young children. So section 1210.3.1, each water closet utilized by the public or employee shall occupy a separate compartment within the walls or partitions and a door enclosing the fixture to ensure privacy. Water closet compartments, exception 2, toilet rooms located in child daycare facilities and containing 2 or more water closets shall be permitted to have 1 water closet without an enclosing compartment. For the lavatory request, public lavatories and employee and public toilet rooms, the required lavatory shall be located in the same room as the required water closet. Then the exception, the section that addresses the grab bars at water is section 609.4.2. At water closets primarily for children's use complying with section 604.1.1, grab bars shall be installed in a horizontal position, 18 inches minimum and 27 inches maximum above the floor measured to the top of the gripping surface. Vertical grab bars shall be mounted to the bottom of the bar located between 21 inches and a minimum and 30 inches maximum above the floor, with the center line of the bar located between 34 inches and a minimum of 36 inches maximum from the rear wall. This request doesn't meet the requirements for approval, and the code clearly states the requirements for the restrooms, the grab bars, and the lab.
All right, thank you. So can the applicant state your name and present your case briefly?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. My name is Gretchen Preston, and I'm the owner and operator of Gretchen's House Child Care Centers here in Ann Arbor, have been for 42 years. I have renovated many buildings for child care use over my time, and what we're asking for here are things that already exist in our other centers, and as I have sent you some pictures of other centers in other parts of the country. It's unfortunate that our building codes don't usually speak to very young children. It's a frustration that I have and my teachers have when they're dealing with these very young children and their needs. I want to make sure I'm understanding you correctly, Mike. So what we're asking for is relief from full height walls. But as I read the code, it looks like we don't have to have full height. They have to be 48 inches. Is that true?
That's correct.
I don't recall a specific height for the walls.
Well, I was reading in you're much more well-versed in this than I am, but it says specifically 48 inches in one of the sections. So if that is the height that we need to have, we can make that work because teachers can see over that height wall. That would be fine. I had it a minute ago. Walls, it's page 11. I think a minimum, a height of not less than 4 feet, 1210.2.2.
I think that just refers to the height where a non-porous surface needs to be used.
Adjacent to a sink is what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
a height not less than 4 feet above the floor, except for the structural elements, materials used in such walls. Yeah, so this is, that part is just talking about where the non-porous surfaces are required.
Okay, so basically, when we have little children with us all day, these are children 4 years old and under. Many of you have experience with very young children. The toilets that we use are 10 inches off the floor, 10 inches. So it's not very tall. They can easily use those toilets themselves, which is one of the things that we're trying to help them do, obviously, is become self-sufficient. But they often need help. So we need to have a toilet facility that teachers can easily help these children with. And if they can't see into the toilet room, it becomes a safety concern for us. Also, we have large trough sinks outside each of our bathrooms and all of our rooms. And we do that on purpose because another part of our learning at this age is how to wash your hands. And we want to make sure that children do wash their hands. And it's much easier for us to help them when it's right outside the bathroom and there's a larger sink and more room for everyone to work. I guess those are the main things that we're asking for. In the preschool room, we don't like to have a door. We just like to have an entry into the bathroom because then children have freer access to toilets, and they often need that quickly at that age. In the infant toddler rooms, we have one toilet and a changing table that has a sink attached to it, as you can see. So at this age, very few children are actually using the toilet. We wish otherwise, but that's the nature of toddlers. And certainly infants can't even stand at the sink. We hold the children up to the sink that is there, where we do the diaper changes for them to wash their hands. Does that give you a little more insight into how we work with these young children in these toilet rooms?
Any questions from the board?
So I just want to, just to clarify, there are 3 bathrooms in this facility that are for child use only?
That's correct.
Okay. And you have a bathrooms, the required bathrooms for adults in other locations?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And ADA accessible, yes.
Okay. And the variance that's requested is actually for 4 things: that there be no grab bars in any of those toilets, that there be no toilet compartments where there's more than one toilet, that there are no lavatories within the toilet rooms, and that the enclosure walls around the bathroom enclosures be 42 inches high and preferably without doors.
We do put doors in the infant toddler rooms because it's a safety issue for those children. We don't want them in there unless they're being supervised.
Okay, because
But in the preschool, no.
because the plans that show, I think it's 109 and 113, don't show any doors under the variance requested.
Well, there would be a door. In the infant toddler rooms, there would be a door. That's an error on our part.
Okay, so the proposal then would be under the variance required diagrams, there would be a door on 113 and also on 108?
Yes. So many numbers to keep, yes, 113 and 108. That's correct.
Okay, and then one more clarification question. So, again, under the 108...
I guess it's 109.
I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble here, too.
Yeah, me
So,
too.
113 is a toddler room and would have a door on it.
Yes, that's correct.
109 is a toddler room and would have a door on it.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So for those two rooms as well, you're showing a diaper changing station in there,
Yes, that's right.
but it has a sink.
It does.
So the
It is a special unit that comes with a sink.
So that sink could suffice as a hand washing station, couldn't it?
And it does.
Oh, it does?
It does. Yes.
Okay, so the request for not having a lavatory in these, directly inside these bathrooms doesn't apply to those two particular toddler rooms?
As long as that sink is meeting the requirement that Mike's department is asking for, yes, that's right.
Okay. And this is just a small detail, but is there any reason why that counter doesn't go all the way to the wall?
Oh, it can. We buy a pre-made station. It comes from a manufacturer. And so that particular wall is just a little bit longer.
Okay.
To meet the 5-foot circle.
Can you speak more about the grab bars? It seems like the building department's commentary just talks about the grab bars being lower and being vertical bars. So, I mean, you can have grab bars there that comply, just not be used.
Right. I mean, our children need help in using the toilet, and they don't use the grab bars. I have them in a couple of my spaces, and they're never used. I don't know what to say, except that they're never used. The toilets are so low that the children don't need them.
That may be the case, but I think the ADA requires grab bars
All toilet rooms.
in all toilet rooms, including ages starting as young as 3. They're at different heights than normal ADA requirements, but I'm pretty sure that those are required, even for very small children.
Would they be required for children under the age of 3?
It doesn't mention under the ages of 3, so by default, I would say not. But
Well, we do some things that, we don't use sometimes because it does meet the requirement of the law. The law isn't perfect. So if we cannot put them in the infant rooms, that would be fine. And then if we need to put them for the preschoolers, we can put them there,
could you?
whether or not they use them.
Could you, what are the age groups for these bathrooms? Because they're just labeled as either preschool or toddler.
Sure. Children 2 years and 9 months are in the infant and toddler rooms, 2 years and 9 months and younger. So 3 months to 2 years, 9 months in those rooms. And then in the preschool room, it would be children 2 years, 9 months up to age 4. And the reason I'm using that age specification is that the licensing rules change for ratios and group size at that age.
And for the preschool bathroom, you need 2 toilets because of the population count?
That's right.
Okay.
My licensing requirements are 1 toilet for every 15 children, or 2 for every 10, or one more for every 10 after that. It's unfortunate that licensing rules, childcare licensing rules don't always agree with some of the building code, which I'm sure you're used to that happening in lots of situations. So, for example, with the children 2 years, 9 months and younger, I'm required to have 100% visual supervision at all times. So you can see why having full walls anywhere in that room are a problem for me. It's a real safety hazard.
So for the building department question, how do they handle ventilation if the walls aren't full height?
I think the walls should be full height, according to code. So I don't know how it would be addressed if you don't have a full height wall.
So if the walls are full height, then you would have to have a teacher go into the bathroom and accompany each child that uses the washroom? Because you need supervision at 24/7, or the whole time?
Absolutely.
It could be a glass partition, something you see through, but you can't, it does contain the ventilation.
We do have ceiling fans above all child bathrooms. All those changing stations and the preschool toilet rooms have a vent above them. Works great.
Okay, so it's not just,
We've not seen a variance like this before, so I'm not very familiar with all the requirements and how other people get around it as far as, is it a staffing issue? Is it a building code issue? How is it managed? I don't know.
I guess one of my questions would be, what is the intent of the building code? It talks about privacy quite frequently throughout, but for these very young children, privacy is not their issue.
So I believe that that's why the code states that if you have two in a room, there's one able to not be enclosed. I think that the code's written specifically for those situations, and it starts that with for-child daycare facilities.
You can see on some of the pictures that I sent you, what child care centers have traditionally done is they'll put and one of them is from one of my own centers, there's a wall between two toilets. Sometimes it's a half wall, sometimes it's a full wall, so that between the toilets, there's privacy, but the teachers can see.
Any other questions or comments from staff or?
I mean, would it be acceptable to put glass above let's say, the 48-inch line on the walls to achieve more of an enclosure, a little more privacy, but still maintain the visual connectivity?
I'm concerned about being able to hear as well, especially with these children under the age of 2 years, 9 months. It's like having a closet in a room that it's worrisome. That's why we don't have large closets in rooms, because children, they're smart, and we don't want a child to get into a space that we can't see. It's very worrisome. And if we take a teacher away from the group for one child. Now we have one teacher left with 7 children, and I'm not allowed to do that. I have to have the visual and the ability to supervise with the 2 teachers in those toddler rooms.
So is
Again,
this something that could be,
privacy.
is this something that could be addressed through staffing and not alterations to the building code?
Could you say more about that, Mike?
Well, I'm just saying, is it possible if there was another adult in that room, that then it would be reasonable to have somebody watching the students and any child that might be in the restroom?
Well, now we're talking about labor costs, and you all have heard ad nauseum the cost of early childhood programs. And I guess, I understand the reason for most all of the building codes that we adhere to. This particular one, if it's for the purpose of privacy, that is not something that children under the age of 4 need. They have a greater need for safety and our supervision. I think that's where I'm getting stuck here. Privacy is not an issue with these little ones. The law states so explicitly. We have to have 100% supervision, sight and sound at all times.
Does the commentary talk to that at all? Probably not for children.
I mean, it not really, other than, just stating that just going over why when there's 2, that having the one without the enclosure allows for, that assistance or whatever is required in that area.
Other comments, questions? If the grab bar is an ADA issue or a building variance issue, I don't know how we would give a variance for that. I mean, that was beyond our jurisdiction for that.
The grab bars are something that don't affect our supervision. So, if we need to put them in, we'll put them in. If they don't get used, then I guess they don't get used. I'm much more concerned about the supervision issues here. And it's interesting that other bathrooms that I see in other places and in my own centers don't have, full height walls around them. So I guess I'm just confused if something changed in the building code, and why the licensing doesn't agree with the building code.
That happens all the time.
No.
They don't coordinate.
Yeah.
You need to submit a code request change to the ICC for certain age groups.
Who else has to go and approve your facility? Just curious, is there an inspection by another organization that then allows you to accept children?
I think everybody except the president or the mayor come into our facility to give us approval. We have to have state fire inspectors. We have state licensing consultants that come through. There's a health and environmental people that come through. Let's see, who else have I missed? We are inspected thoroughly. The environmental health, and people have never said a thing about the bathrooms that we have that are half walls at this point. So,
So if these are gonna have doors on them, what kind of doors are you talking about? To be a partial height door, or what kind of door are you talking, like a gate?
it's like a gate, yes, that's right. It's a half height, it would be the same height as the wall. It's a gate that has a latch that children can't open. And believe me, we've had to look for those. Ann Arbor has nothing but the smartest children.
You swing in or swing out?
Usually they swing out because of the ADA.
And what is the wall material? You're kind of showing us the blue. Is that like a tile, or is that a paneling, or what is that material? It's non-porous?
We've used different sorts of materials, and we can use whatever would be required. Drywall is what we have in many of them. Some I have shiplap, or like paneling on the outside because it's attractive. The inside is usually either tile or drywall. You can see in the one, well, actually, two of the photos have drywall in these toilet rooms from actual bathrooms. The brown, that's a really good question. That's probably a paneling. I'm trying to remember, that center's been around a while.
The plumbing code requires non-porous, same kind of thing, so the shiplap would be a question there, depending on the finish, but if it's a laminate or something like that, potentially could be non-porous. But you're not asking for a variance on that, so whatever it is will comply with code.
No. I also think that very few childcare centers are being built or renovated so that, you know, it's not something that you come across all the time.
This is an existing facility being renovated, or is this all new? What is this? Is all new or renovated?
This was Summerhill School, and then 20 years ago, then it was an office building, and now I'm renovating it back for child use.
Okay. So is that a change in use, or is it still in remaining use? From education to childcare is business, is that false?
Something that might have been to his office from business.
Okay. Changing occupancy but not changing use? If it's business to business, or? So you're working on a motion, Bob? It's a challenging one.
It doesn't fit neatly into the
template,
into the template.
yeah. And then maybe two motions, one for the toddler room and one non for the toddler room, or they all
I
combine into
really
one?
hope to avoid that,
Oh, yeah,
so
uh-huh.
that we didn't have to hand in a epic
Twice, yeah.
poem to,
Okay.
Well, it would appear that the bars would be acceptable. You've got doors in the older room, but not the younger room. And the sinks outside, inside. With the toddler in the changing room, you do have sinks inside, which might fly.
well,
More discussion? I guess we can discuss them on board, is it true before you finish your motion?
I mean, I can float a motion and see how it, if it passes muster. Okay. I move that in the case of BBA 25-0009, the appeal of the building official's decision that the 2015 Manchester Road is granted only partial relief from section P 1210.3.1, 405.3.2 of the 2021 Michigan Plumbing Code, and 1109.2, exception 7 of the 2015 Michigan Building Code as follows. The 2015 Michigan Building Code in section 1109.2, exception 7, installation of grab bars in the toilet area are required and has been correctly interpreted by the building official. The 2021 Michigan Building Code section P 1210.3.1, water, and 405.3.2, the requirement for water closet enclosures and a lavatory within the toilet room does apply to the children's area toilet rooms at 2015 Manchester Road. The motion includes the following clarifications and stipulations. The toilets shall include grab bars as required and advised by the ADA. Wash sinks shall be inside toilets. It is acceptable to combine hand wash sinks with diaper changing sinks as allowed by the Michigan Daycare Center regulations. It is acceptable to have low enclosure walls to meet 48-inch high heights to meet plumbing code provisions for finishes. Toilet room doors may be 48 inches high but are required. And any toilet room with 2 or more toilets shall have only one unenclosed toilet. At other locations, privacy partitions may be 48 inches high and without doors.
So part of your provisions require the grab bars as part of granting something else, is that the intent? Or just not
The
giving?
the intent is to keep the grab bars in. The intent is to keep the sinks inside the toilet room enclosures. The intent is to interpret the code that the enclosure walls can be low.
So we're granting a
Not
variance of-
42 inches,
yeah.
48 inches, so that they meet the finish requirements. And in places where there are more than one toilet, the one that should be completely enclosed is essentially only partially enclosed, but still has some
Yeah.
form of privacy.
So we're basically granting a variance for allowing 48-inch high walls. This is the intent of it. That's what they're gaining out of the variance, is a height of the partition wall and
Yeah,
enclosure
I'm-
walls and gates can be,
Yes, I read the intent of the code, that the more important thing is to make sure that there are clean, non-absorbent finishes up to 48 inches. not all the way to the ceiling, and, I mean, the ventilation part of it is, if they can figure that out.
Performance-based, yeah, I
They
get
can
it.
figure that out.
Yeah. Mhm. Any questions about the variances narrative written?
Is there any clarification needed between the types of restrooms? Like where they're located, so that we're specific to, I just don't, if we write it openly enough, I don't want it to apply to the entire building.
So just for
Okay,
these 4 rooms?
Right.
So it's for rooms. where-
So the motion is amended to pertain only to the toilet rooms used by children.
Preschool and toddlers, it sounds like?
4 years and younger.
4 years and younger.
Okay.
Oh, second.
And you have it written down, Bob, so we can turn that in, the whole rule
No.
about, you want to finish writing that down before we vote? Let's,
I'll probably have to rewrite this.
But we do have a second.
Yeah.
a second? Yeah, we have a motion and a second.
So I just want to make sure I got this. So the provision, what's being added is the provisions apply only to the toilet rooms that serve
Children less than 4 years of age,
children,
under whatever.
Do you want to break it out to toddlers to 2 and 9 months, and then 2 and 10 months to 4?
No, we're not doing anything that's different for this. There's no change, there's no difference for them.
the applicant is out there somewhere. How old are the kids in your daycare? Do they go up beyond age 4?
No,
No, okay,
no.
okay. So the provisions apply only to the toilet rooms that serve children under age 4.
4 and under, I think.
So we have 4 members present. To pass is going to need a vote, or at least 3 positive votes.
Yep.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those against it? None? Any abstaining? Motion passes.
Might I have clarification on one item?
Sure.
My printout says page 19, but the preschool bathroom, the bathroom that has 2 toilets in it, as shown from our architect and designer, shows a panel between the 2 toilets. Is that acceptable? Is as it's drawn there, does that work?
What page is that?
Page 19, is
This
it? This one? It appears to meet the variance.
It's drawing 19, the one that says as submitted.
Yes, that's the one.
The intent of the motion was that the toilet, the toilet that has the door on it, that partition would be 48 inches high and would not need a door.
Okay, yeah, that was the clarification I wanted to get, thank you. So as it's shown there, it can be 48 high, just like the walls outside.
Correct, but with the idea that you'd still have a door to the overall enclosure.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
we can do that. So you would like to see that in the preschool as well? A door?
I think all of them.
In all of them,
The variance complies.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
So they'll submit revised plans for this stuff then, Mike, is that what you're gonna wanna see? They have a revised permit set?
Yeah, it'll need to, yeah, revisions were requested on the initial plan review, so they'll need to submit them with the approval.
so Mike, they just submitted some plans, but that did not have the 48-inch high walls because before today's meeting, they were not approved. So I will ask the architect to submit them as you have agreed today.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is old business. Any old business to cover? You said the previous variances, one is not coming back for the washer dryer.
Yeah, the washer dryer's not coming back, and I'm working with the contractor on the 2 exits and egress windows from last month's meeting.
Okay, any other old business? New business? Anything? Can we have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Adjourned at 2:17.